Howdy everybody, this is Steve KM9G, and we are going to play around with the 6100 again today. We did a live stream the other day talking with Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 about this lovely radio that I've got sitting over here, and we talked about old man eyes, and it might just be my old man eyes, I don't know, but this text right here, this red text on a blue background, is really hard to see. And one of the Toads members actually came to the rescue, Chuck KD9NUD. Chuck is the one that's been doing the hex editing for the open firmware, the open transmit, and the 10 watts on battery power. And now he's made a color change for us. He says it's white. And he gave some hints. So let's get after putting it on. This is the radio, this right here, this volume and BL level. This is a soft menu. You can change this menu to be whatever you want it to be. It's the red text on the blue background that is really hard to read. And I've got the best camera that I've got focused in on this thing, so we've got a nice, clean, clear picture. And what we need to do is get into the terminal settings, and I have, sitting down here on the workbench, a little teeny tiny SD card that needs to go on the radio. So I'm going to put that into the radio. So I log into my Raspberry Pi on my network. And the reason why is because my Raspberry Pi is the one that I have connected into the radio over the USB serial cable job. So I want to do my STTY settings. And then I want to do my screen settings. And now we are on the radio and we get to log in. And the root password is 123. So I'm logged in over a serial console, and you saw the settings and the steps. This is all documented in the GitHub repository with the firmware that we're using, which is linked in the description down below. There's also some discounts down there where you can get this radio or any other accessories at Radioddity for a fantastic price, and a whole bunch of other interesting things in the description. So don't be slacking on the description, folks. There's lots of good stuff down there. So I am in the root folder, and I have my SD card installed. So I need to mount the SD card. In order to do that, I need to have a mount point. And let's do SD card. And then LS block. Is that going to work? That is going to work. Okay, so MMC BLK2 is the internal MMC device that is the internal storage of the radio. MMC BLK0 is the storage device that I just plugged in. That's my personal SD card. So I want to mount /dev/MMC BLK0P1. SD card is where I want to mount it to, and it says it has mounted it. So then we change into SD card and we look at the files, and there it is. It's the second from the bottom, X6100 UI V100 2022 0125 OpenTX. And you know what? I don't even know if I'm on the 125 firmware. I guess we got to do that first. Well, let's play around. Let's live on the edge and see what happens. Oh, we're on the January 17th firmware. Well, let's just live on the edge. Let's see how this is actually going to work. Let's get out of here. Find where it is on the local machine. I'm doing this by memory, but there are instructions on the GitHub page, which is, again, linked in the description down below. User app _QT. Okay, I want to copy the current one. CP is short for copy, and I want to copy it to a backup file so I don't lose it in case this doesn't work. But in case this doesn't work, you can always just reload on the original firmware. V100 dot original, and you can call it whatever you want. Some people say dot back or dot backup or whatnot. It's just the original. So now I've got a copy of the files, and you'll see that the file permissions are different. It is read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, execute for the actual loadable version. And it is read, write, execute, read, execute, read, execute for the original. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. 775 for X6100 dot original. And now when I look, the file permissions are the same. Now I want to copy the file off of the SD card. And I want to do /etsy/init.d/s99 user. Oh, capital S. Stop. And if we look over at our radio, we'll see that the app has stopped. And we just have a blinking cursor in the upper corner there. Let's go back over here to our application folder. CP X6100 -2022 X6100 underscore UI underscore V100. And so now I'm copying the modified firmware file over the original firmware file. All right. And you can see this doesn't have any executable permission, so it won't run. So we'll do the change mod again. And I'm just hitting the up arrow to go back through my command history until I get to the right file. And now we've got that set. And we'll see that the permissions have changed. So we will do the application restart. And if I hit start and press enter, we're going to see some magic. It's either going to gloriously, spectacularly fail because I have the wrong version of the firmware, or it's going to run just fine. My first impression is that it's going to run just fine. Let's try it out. Hit start, and it started okay, and it popped up on the radio, and now the camera's having some trouble focusing on it, but you can see that it is now white on red, but you can see that it's a lot easier to read now. And I'm going to keep playing with this, with it having the 1.25 firmware version of the app on the 1.17 firmware version of the radio. So there you have it. I think that looks better already. Chuck, you are amazingly awesome. Thank you for continuing your efforts on putting these firmwares together after the new firmware is released officially. And if you want a copy of this, again, it's in the description down below. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times now, so if you miss it, I don't know, folks. Either way, there is a video over here I think you will enjoy next. I am going to enjoy looking at this white on blue instead of red on blue, and keep having fun with it. So thanks for being awesome. We'll see you in the next one.